Poetry, let me start again. Poultney High School! Welcome to the 2019 Poultney High School School-Wide Poetry Out Loud Recitation Competition. It's a pleasure to be able to bring this to you and to all of you, to have an audience and to make poetry a little bit more alive. But before I say too many words just on my own, I'd like to start today with a poem. A poem that I picked with the student performer, the student reciters in mind. I think that I frequently use the word courage and bravery when speaking about people who find it within themselves to take the stage, to get in front of the microphone, in front of large groups of people, because I think that's a courageous and brave act, and I want to honor and applaud that. And I think this poem speaks to both the external and the internal voices that are alive and at play, and sometimes want to hold us back, and sometimes want to propel us forward. So it's called The Journey by Mary Oliver. And again, this is with these students who are going to take the stage in just a minute in mind. One day, you finally knew what you had to do and began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble and you felt the old tug at your ankles. "End my life!" each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough, and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. So we've been doing Poetry Out Loud for a good number of years. I don't know how many to be exact, but Poetry Out Loud, as you know, many of you know, is a national competition that brings contestants from all 50 states together, finalists from their states together in April to Washington, D.C. to compete in the national competition, where the winner, besides being crowned the national champion for poetry recitation, walks home with $20,000. So there is some incentive there. It's a competition that, my understanding, gets about 3 million students around the country competing every year, and I think there's something to be said for that. But we do it here at our small little school, and it's been an honor to do that. It's a wonderful thing for the teacher, I think, for the teachers who welcome it into the classroom to kind of see where their students go, what poems they choose, and then to work to understand those poems, and then to work to memorize those poems, and then to get up in front of their peers and recite those poems, and then for a select number, this year, 4, to say, yeah, I'm going to get up on the stage and I'm going to recite that in front of the whole school and see how I do. And for me to witness that is wonderful. So that's what we're about to do here today. And though this year our number of reciters is small in size, tell you what, yeah, say it again. Oh yeah, they're big in spirit. So I guess without further ado, oh no, I'm sorry. So thank you to teachers who participated, and I'd like to recognize our judges today. I forgot to send out my little biographical questionnaire, so I'm going to do the best I can. Our first judge on the far left, I just had to make sure it's right. Our first judge is David Mook. David is I believe he resides in Wells, Vermont. Is that correct? Or Pulteney? Oh, Pulteney, Vermont. David has judged this competition on many occasions. A poet, I believe a teacher at Castleton State College, or University, sorry, among many other things. Also a board member of the Stone Valley Arts across the way, correct? Yeah. All right, so thank you, David, for being here today. Appreciate it. Our next judge, Burnham Holmes, one of the first people I met nearly 20 years ago when I moved to Vermont, is a Wells resident, professor of, Pulteney resident, I'm getting everything, okay. So Pulteney resident, and also is a professor at Castleton State University, writer, both people so far are writers, and has also judged the competition in previous years. So thank you, Burnham. We appreciate you coming out today. And our third judge, joining us for the first time, Emma Miles, is a college student down the way at Green Mountain College. I don't know a whole lot about Emma. I know that she's a poet, and I believe writes poetry and performs her poetry. But she was gracious enough today to donate her time and to be here to judge this competition, so thank you very much. Our accuracy judge is our very own Kathleen Jones, who's done this job for many years, so she'll be checking off, making sure that the students are accurately reciting the poems, and we know all four of them will do so, so her job will be easy today. So thank you, Kathleen. Nancy Roberts, who has also helped out before, she's going to be helping to tabulate the scores so that we can get the winning or the results back to you as soon as possible. All right, I think we're ready. We're ready to go. I asked the student competitors a few questions. It's going to help fill time so the judges can do their work in between, after recitations, but I'll just go ahead and share some things about our first contestant, Cassidy Mapp. I asked, if you could script your legacy, how would you have people in the future generations remember you? And she said, I would want people to remember me as hardworking, never giving up, independent, strong, and loving. I asked Cassidy, what brings you the most joy? Cassidy said, what brings me joy is sunshine, music, singing, being happy with my friends. I asked Cassidy, what is something, an issue, a belief system, etc., in the world that you'd like to see change? Cassidy said, people getting offended so easily and constantly arguing, finding a way to see others' views without thinking yours is the only right answer. And finally, I asked Cassidy, what made you decide to compete in Poetry Out Loud, school-wide competition? Cassidy said, it was something to do. Spend my time doing something educational. Without further ado, our first contestant, Cassidy Mapp.
The ocean has its silent caves, deep, quiet, and alone. Though there be fury on the waves, beneath them there is none. The awful spirits of the deep hold their communion there, and there are those for whom we weep, the young, the bright, the fair. Calmly the wearied seamen rest beneath their own blue sea. The ocean's solitudes are blessed, for there is purity. The earth has guilt, the earth has care, quiet are its graves, but peaceful sleep is ever there beneath the dark blue waves.
Thank you, Kathy. All right. Give judges time here. Our next contestant is Ruth Daly. Ruth, you could script your legacy. How would you want people in future generations to remember you as being real? What brings you the most joy, Ruth? My family. They bring me the most joy. What's something, an issue, a belief system you'd like to see change in the world? Less inequality. More equality. What made you decide to compete in the Poetry Out Loud school-wide competition, Ruth? Think about her first answer, being real. The cash prize. Ruth Daly.
A noiseless, patient spider by Walt Whitman. A noiseless, patient spider. I marked where on a little promontory it stood isolated. Mark had to explore the vacant, vast surrounding. It launched forth filament, filament, filament out of itself, ever unreeling them, ever tirelessly speeding them. And you, oh my soul, where you stand, surrounded, detached, in measureless oceans of space, ceaselessly musing, venturing, throwing, seeking the spheres to connect them, till the bridge will need be formed, till the ductile anchor hold, till the gossamer thread you fling catch somewhere, oh my soul.
I realize that I failed to announce to all of you that yes, there is a cash prize. There are two cash prizes. The winner of the Pulteney High School Poetry Out Loud competition will walk home with a $50 cash prize. The runner-up will walk home with a, I have to go to my pocket, a $25 Amazon card. So that's something. But maybe more importantly, that the winner of our competition is qualified, if he or she so desires, to compete at the state level. I think it's March 9th, up in Barrie at the Barrie Opera House. And that's the semifinals, and to see if they qualify for the finals up in South Carolina. Kelly Stone is our third contestant. Her legacy: strong, hardworking individual with many hardships that I've overcome. What brings you joy, Kelly? Sleep, reading, writing, poetry. Thank goodness for prayer. What is something that in this world you'd like to see change? I'd like to see free college like they do in Australia. What made you decide to compete in the Poetry Out Loud school-wide competition? I love poetry, and I want to be more comfortable speaking in front of others. Well, here's your chance. Kelly Stone.
Enough, by Suzanne Buffalo. I'm wearing dark glasses inside the house to match my dark room. I left all the sugar out of the pie. My rage is a kind of domestic rage. I learned it from my mother. I learned it from her mother before her, and so on. Surely the Greeks had a word for this. Now surely the Germans do. More words a person knows to describe her private sufferings, the more distantly she can perceive them. What What does it mean to act well in apartments and past for us? To love the life we could give. Wind, light, fire, time. A train whistles through the farmlands. One day, I plan to be right there.
Our last participant today, Jacob McMahon. In terms of his legacy, actually I better raise this. This one. Oh, this one. Yeah, but that's what I'm doing. His legacy, hopefully for the joy I bring people every day. What brings you joy? Telling people random geography facts? What's something that you'd like to see change? I'd like to help clean up our community because there is trash all over the place. Green up there. What made you decide to compete in Poetry Out Loud school-wide competition? I enjoy entertaining people. And I too love poetry. Jacob McMahon.
Coyote with Mange by Mark Munderlich. Oh, unreadable one, why have you punished your dumb creature? Why have you chosen to punish the coyote? Rummaging for chicken bones in the dung heap, shook the fur from his tail and fashioned it into a scabby cane. Why have you denuded his face, so that when he turns, he looks like a slow child unhinging his face in a smile? The coyote shambles. Crow hops, keeps his head low. His now visible pizzle is a sad red protuberance. His hind legs, the backward image of a bandy-legged grandfather, stripped. Why have you unhoused this wretch from his one aesthetic virtue, taking from him that which kept him from burning in the sun like a man? Why have you pushed him from his world into mine, stopped him there, and turned his ear toward my warning shout?
I forgot to tell you, so I'm going to let the judges are going to have to, we're going to have to do tabulations to determine our winner and runner-up. But the judges are evaluating the recitations based on physical poise and posture, vocals, understanding of the poem. What's the fourth category? Voice and articulation, you guys said that already, and an overall performance. And, as I mentioned, they are awarded points for accuracy. So that's an important component too. That's worth 8 points there. So that's what Kathleen Jones was evaluating and or monitoring. And so they're fast to work now. And, calculating things, and so we'll be back to you momentarily with the results. So please hang tight. What did you know? On a day where we need to fill time, something unprecedented would befall us. So we have a tie. We have a tie. So we've scrambled, and here's how we're going to break that tie. We're going to have a recite-off. Sudden death. Okay. We're going to have both, and I'll give you their names in just a moment. We're going to have both performers who are currently in a tie recite poems again, and the judges are going to rescore them. And I don't know if it's tie again. I don't know what we're going to do. But let's hope we don't get to that place. Currently, both in first place, Ruth Daly and Jacob McMahon. Okay, you've already heard all his biographical information. He can tell us some more geography facts, he says. I'm not going to give this out. Welcome again, Jacob McMahon.
Coyote with Mange by Mark Bunderlich. Oh, unreadable one, why have you done this to your dumb creature? Why have you chosen to punish the coyote, rummaging for chicken bones in the dung heap, shucked the fur from his tail, and fashioned it to a scabby cane? Why have you denuded his face, so that when he turns, he looks like a slow child, unhinging his face and smile? The coyote shambles. Crow hops, keeps his head low. His now visible pizzle is a sad red protuberance. His hind legs, the backward image of a bandy-legged grandfather, stripped. Why have you unhoused this wretch from his one aesthetic virtue, taken from him that which kept him from burning in the sun like a man? Why have you pushed him from his world into mine? Stopped him there. Turned his ear toward my warning shout.
Thank you, Jacob. You've got to give the judges some. So here's the filler. Kelly wants me to tell you, you can try this over break, that if you get a glass of water and a package of M&Ms, you put the M&Ms in the water, or one M in the water, that eventually the M, or is it a double M? I can't remember. A double M or a single M? It's a single M. It will lift itself from off of the little round delectable or confection candy shell, and it will float on the surface. That's poetic. All right, I think, are we ready? Please welcome again, with a warm round of applause, Ruth Daly.
A Noiseless Patient Spider by Walt Whitman. A noiseless, patient spider. I marked where on a little promontory it stood isolated. Marked had to explore the vacant, vast surrounding. It launched forth filament, filament, filament out of itself, ever unreeling them, ever tirelessly speeding them. And you, oh my soul, where you stand, surrounded, detached, in measureless oceans of space, ceaselessly musing, venturing, throwing, seeking the spheres to connect them, till the bridge you will need be formed, till the ductile anchor pulled, till the gossamer thread you fling catch somewhere, oh my soul.
Few moments for computing, and then we'll be back with the results. All right, the moment we've been waiting for. But first, before I announce the winner, I'd like to bring all the contestants up for a very warm round of applause. I could build the suspense if I had all four contestants vying for the first position. So I think I'm just going to announce the winner outright. So this year, winner of the Fulton High School Poetry Out Loud school-wide competition is Ruth Daly! Congratulations to Ruth. She walks away with a $50 cash card, the title of school champion, and she has said, yes, I will go to Barry in March and compete. And our runner-up, Jacob McMahon with $25. So, there you have it. And again, thanks to Kelly and Cassidy, who were in the running, but didn't quite get there this year. But everyone can compete again next year. So can you. Thank you very much. Enjoy the pep assembly on the other side of the fence. And, looks like our principal has something to say.
First of all, let's give another round of applause for these guys that down up here. So hold up, sit right where you are right now. So we're doing things a little differently. We're going to start the pep assembly here. All right, Cameron's going to let you know when we're going to go to the other side. So, but again, big props to Mr. Holloman for setting this up, and thank you for the judges for coming in and helping to judge this. And you know, it's not as easy. We were talking to Mr. Holloman the other day, and he's like, I might have 6, I might have 4 or 5, I'm not sure. You know, a lot of guts to get up here and sing to a poem in front of everybody. So, you know, when you see these 4 people up here, tell them good job, and thank you again, Mr. Holloman. Cameron, the floor is yours, and big guy.